my kingdom. Had to buy some harmony. Now I'm flexing with my jewels. You could tell I got a lot on me. Grab another hero, feeling like I hit the lottery. Farming, getting API, stacking profits to the sky. 1x2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Inner Grove. We've
What's up,
got
Kyle?
Babypunch, Samichpunch. We're going to be doing a play stream for you guys tonight. It'll be pretty casual. We're just going to go over a few items. Samichpunch, what are we going over real quick? Just a quick outline.
Yeah, so let's talk about the announcement from this afternoon. So we'll talk about the NPCs, the new NPCs throughout the map. Let's talk about the egg drop, egg drop event. Let's do like a hero market check. I want to talk a little bit about combat and the quote Final Fantasy 12 Gambit system for those that maybe aren't familiar with that. And then I also wanted to kind of like talk about the Gen0 Reroll, potential reroll. So let's
that'll be
get
good.
into it.
I personally never played Final Fantasy. I know you played some Final Fantasy, so that combat system is completely unfamiliar to me. So it'll be interesting
Yeah,
to see
it's a really interesting one.
how that kind of pans out. And 10x eggs coming up, so I know some people might not love that, some people might love it, but so maybe we just touch on the announcement. Let me pull it up here, and we won't read through it all, but so essentially there's a Gaia song event which is going to be dropping 10 times the number of eggs starting April 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern time through April 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So roughly 3 days there of 10x drop rates for eggs. So how do you feel about that particularly?
You know, I know it's like super controversial. At least I don't know why that maybe it says something about me, but the people that I guess it's the people that I follow on Twitter, they're either like super bullish or super bearish, and a lot of them hate this. And I can understand why. I mean, the market for eggs, from what I could tell, dipped pretty bad right after the announcement. But I mean, if we keep things in perspective, it's 10x drop rate over 3 days. So, I mean, basic math tells you can like cram in what would have been taking you 30 days of a bite at the egg apple. You could cram that into 3 days. So does it suck for people who hold eggs? Right now it does if you're selling it, but I still don't think that this I don't think 3 days is gonna like crater the market. The initial news, yes, people were dumping, but and we still have the hatchery. That is gonna be super exciting. Like if you're pulling like the mythic. Also, the cool thing about this, I'll call it the cool thing, the silver lining, whatever you want to say, because I know a lot of people hate it. And then that is, everyone has their opinion on it. But this is going to allow people who maybe have one hero who just like can't get an egg for the life of them to maybe have a chance to get one finally before the hatchery happens.
So to put it into perspective, cool. I have roughly 50 heroes is what I've kind of averaged over the course of, let's see, when did forging and fishing come out? It's got to be what, over 6 months ago? 6-7 months ago,
probably
something like
pretty. I don't think it's 7, but probably pretty close to 6.
Yeah. So to put it into perspective, I have only ever found 18 total eggs from 7 months of questing with roughly 50 heroes. I do not think that in 3 days, that even with the 10x, we are not going to see a massive influx of eggs. Like, sure, people will have more and it'll be sweet to stack up a couple more, but honestly, in 30 days, I'm lucky if I find 2 eggs. Like, maybe my luck particularly is just really bad, but I just don't see I don't see the market like all of a sudden be just completely saturated and flooded with eggs. I think it's exactly like you said. It'll give someone the opportunity who has 1 or 2 or 3 heroes that is hunting for their first egg, or maybe has one, maybe they'll get 2 eggs. You know, maybe they'll be able to find another one. Maybe they won't. So I think it's a good thing. I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, the egg market is shot," but it's like, nah, we're not getting that many.
I mean,
So
it did get shot when everyone panic sold them.
yeah, exactly.
So like, let's see what happens in, you know, at the end of the 3-day period. I don't see this being like a long-term thing. So
No, neither do I.
all right, so like let's just go click on all the NPCs real quick. So the NPCs, they've already mentioned these are going to be the training quests. I think Hubert referred to them as training quests. Fox referred to them as stat quests. Either way, it's this. I think they're talking about the same thing. I also think this is the quest they referenced a few weeks ago when they said that Hoppabell, because they were talking about like what kind of content can we get out ASAP, and I think this is the quest they were talking about that Hoppabell was working on. Could be wrong, but that's. I mean, there's no other quest really other than that and profession quests before land tournaments that they've talked about. So that's my guess. So yeah, let's hit it up. So
Where should
I
I
found
start?
all 8 of them. You didn't find all 8 of them.
No,
I
I
had to
did
show
not.
you where they were. So let's go to the tavern first.
Okay, let's hit the tavern.
So there's 8 of them, and so guys, these are the training stat quests, and there's 8 stats. So obviously that's kind of how that's going to work. So click on that guy in the blue and green right there. Card game, Lucky Mo. I mean, I'm gonna guess this is a luck-based stat game. So I think they said next week's patch. That'll be cool.
That'll be cool. So
The
do you
guy.
think like these training quests are going to? I guess, what do you suspect? What is your kind of forecast for what these are actually going to do?
So I mean, let me look at the announcement again real quick, just to make sure I don't like my speculation isn't completely off. 8
I think
next week.
they just said it was a new way to gain experience outside.
Yeah, so
of
it says
the session.
provide training quests to challenge your heroes and put their individual attributes to the test. These will provide a brand new way for heroes to excel independent of their primary profession. See if you can find them all and make sure your heroes are ready. So I think it'll be a quest that gives rewards, and it'll be solely based off of your stat. That specific stat has nothing to do with your class, other than the indirectly class impact stat growth. It will have nothing to do with your profession. So that's kind of cool. And maybe this opens up more hero utility in the sense that it's not just miners that have value, which kind of seems to be the case on the tavern right now. So who's the second guy? What was he doing?
Okay, this one. Arm wrestling.
Strength. That's got to be strength. What about the chica next to the stairs?
Right,
darts. Yeah, I'm gonna guess dexterity. So there's 3. Why don't we hit the marketplace?
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk, and we could talk about after we hit them all, like, or maybe while we're hitting them all, like what those rewards might look like. I don't see this being a thing where you just like can grind it out and get tons of stats. That would kind of defeat the purpose of or kind of break the leveling. It would break benefits like attunement crystals and enhancement stones. So I mean, I was talking with your brother earlier, and like he mentioned, hey, I think one of the rewards might be crystals. So maybe one of the rewards you get, because right now we have no way to get crystals and stones other than the Perilous Journey event that happened. So I could see if you do this, maybe you have a chance to get crystals and maybe a really low chance for like a stone, since stones are so OP.
Do you anticipate like experience?
Yeah, I would be shocked. I mean, experience is so big, it would be like, I would have to imagine that it's going to be similar to experience you could spend or get from your stamina spent profession questing. Otherwise, I don't know if people would do it if you have to completely forego experience. All right, so what do we got in the marketplace? The little kid.
So we've got Game of Ball. Game of Ball.
Maybe agility, speed. I could see it maybe being agility. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's tough. Game of ball. I don't even know what game they could be referring to.
Mm.
Like
Maybe in-
bocce ball or something. Game of ball.
He is holding a bocce looking ball. All right, and then we got top
Let's
right.
see. Yep. It's got dancing.
Okay, I mean I could see dancer being like dex or agility or dexterity too. Who knows? Maybe intelligence or wisdom. Like can't be a clumsy bozo like myself to dance. Bloater ball. People are saying bloater ball, dodge ball. All right, that's 5. So let's go to the
So 5.
castle.
Castle.
Is that 5? Yeah, that's 5.
Yep. So Jester. Jester's been here for a while. Oh wait, this isn't an event. He's not one of them though.
Yeah, he might not be one of them.
So
Okay, so there's let's assume he's not. Then you've got the guy on the bench right above him. Yeah, Jester probably not it.
Oh, right there.
Belsarn.
Puzzle solving. Okay.
Belsarn says
this has got to
dancing, I think,
be
is vitality. I could definitely see that.
this guy, the puzzle solving.
Oh no, Belsarn was saying dancing could be vitality.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can see that.
I can see that.
Puzzle solving. That's got to be
definitely like intelligence
or wisdom. Yeah. All right. So that puts us at 6.
Then 6.
All right.
Was
I know
there
where the
one
last
other
2
one
then.
in the castle?
Yeah. So go to. No, I think that's it for the castle. Go to the alchemist.
Okay.
Alchemist assistants. You know, he's talking about reminding him every time he blows off his beard. I'm guessing that's wisdom.
Okay.
And then the last one is in the
one.
garden. The very
That's
bottom.
right.
I mean, what stat have we not really covered here? Endurance, maybe.
Let's see, strength, endurance. Yeah, endurance, maybe.
Take pride in carrying the business through another generation. Mom and Pa. Yeah, I could see.
I don't know.
I could see endurance there. Vitality. Cool. So there's the 8 people. I mean, that is our thoughts. You know, I said maybe like attunement crystals as a reward. You know, experience attunement crystals. Maybe a super low drop for an enhancement stone. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see. I think those would all be really good rewards to get. I'm trying to think if they. Do you think Jewel could it all be a reward for some of these?
I doubt it, because when they were talking about token utility, like and use of Jewel. Well, no, I mean maybe.
Maybe
I just don't. I don't see Jewel being a reward here.
Yeah.
And if it is, it would be less than the gardens, because the gardens is currently the only quest that pulls from the quest pool, and I just don't see you getting more Jewel from a quest like this than you do from gardening.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't anticipate that either. Although they made it sound like future quests, harder quests, you would be getting Jewel, right? That, I mean,
yeah,
at least
I think especially PvP, there will be other stuff that pulls Jewel. Yes.
Okay, so not necessarily related to your lock balance, not necessarily related to your LP, but
straight
just
from the quest
plain
pool.
old quest that, puts everyone on level grounds.
Yeah.
I could.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna like obnoxiously drink some of this water. I'm trying to drink more water, and I know this is like ridiculous how big this is. But it's like got, what is this, like 100 or 140 ounces, and I'm trying to drink more water. And this is what I started at, so I've only gotten through that much in the entire day. So you can see how well it's going.
Please bring that to the gym with you next time, and just be one of those gym bros.
With my bag, bring my bag, and carry it with me to each machine.
Exactly. Yeah, I could honestly see gold being a drop for a lot of these quests.
Yeah,
so
maybe runes. Maybe some runes. So we'll see. All right. Okay, there's NPCs. There's our rampant speculation on what training quests might be. Let's take a look at the hero market. You want to pull that up, or you want me to pull up the tavern?
I've got it. Let's see.
All right. So I mean, what do you check for? Like, I'm typically looking at I'm typically looking to see like what's the floor on a mythic, what's the floor price generally, what's a Gen 1 10 out of 10, those kind of things. So we're looking
yeah,
35
I look at
floor price.
Yep, 35 is the floor. And then when I'm looking to just see if there's any really good deals, like my most high priority is level. So because that is represented a lot of time. So if there's anyone that's just trying to fire sell a really high level hero, like to me that is the highest value.
Yeah, so like let's take a look. Like what's like a level 6 running for?
Let's
Like a
see.
floor level 6 hero, because that I don't have any guys that are level 7 unless they went on Perilous Journey and survived. So 6 for like someone who's questing pretty efficiently. Okay, 48.
48
So
jewel for a level.
13 jewel
Off the floor.
represents essentially 6 months worth of questing.
That is nutty to me.
What about like yes, go down here. Okay, so he's 60 for an uncommon.
60 for an uncommon.
What kind of stats? Go look at that.
There is a level 6 paladin for 75 jewel. Like, do you think that is a steal?
Look, let me see its stats. That's pretty like well-rounded, you know, not like min-maxed. What about go back up to that floor one, 48. I'm curious to see their stats.
The 48 one?
Yeah. Foraging, dex, and honestly, that's a pretty boss forager. 28 dex or foraging stats. Yeah, I mean nothing crazy, but it's level 6 is a pretty big. I mean,
see if we went up to a rare.
we know profession level 10 profession quests, and guys, keep in mind that's profession skill level, not your hero level. Those are coming up, so I mean, look at this. What's the floor price on a level 10 profession? Like, let's just look up. Let's just assume they roll it out the same way as fish, like as they did the same cadence. Like, look at a level 10 like forager or fisher. What's the floor on that? So if you go to stats, yeah.
I feel like level 10 is pretty low though. Like,
yeah, hit up 15. Hit up 15. So that was 10. Okay, wow. You only go up 1.79 jewel from the 10 floor. So the cool thing about level 15 is like you're gonna, whenever level 10 profession quests come out, and I'm not gonna like even take a guess, but you're gonna be 5 profession skills into that one, so your rewards will obviously be better. And again, for those who don't know how it works, it's like you've got 2 stats that are applicable to each profession, and then the majority of the reward roll rates are dependent on your profession skill level. As your profession skill level goes up, the chance of you getting nothing goes down, and the chance of you getting the various items for that profession quest go up. We don't know the formula, so we don't know exactly like, you know, what the roll rate is for someone who's level 18 profession skill on these level 0 quests, but I mean it does go up quite a bit. Like I rarely come back with nothing. Like my guys are constantly pulling multiple like fish, runes, a lot of stuff. All right, what about like mythic? What are like mythics running for?
All right, let's go check out a mythic here.
Ragnaloth 420. I kind of have to disagree with you on this one, man. He says no one cares about profession because even if it's high, the stats have more impact. I actually don't know where you're pulling that from, because the last I heard on this, profession skill determines 2/3 of the outcome of your rewards, and stats account for 1/3. But why don't you look at this? I'm actually gonna go check that in the docs. Make sure I'm not like.
No, I believe that's correct. So, yeah, profession. You're probably deriving that from the fact that no one really cares about foraging or fishing anything other than essentially mining or gardening. But the fact is, when we start getting these higher level profession quests, the rewards could be, we don't know where the rewards are going to be, but they could be drastically better. Like what we have right now are level 0 quests. So once we get to a level 10 required quest or 20 required quest, then rewards could be significantly better. So I would say right now, yeah, it's probably pretty undervalued, but in terms of the game and as it continues to develop, like those are going to be a lot more valued. Right now, people value stats more because all the hypes around combat and the LAN tournament being based on stats. So yeah, that's where the focus is and the hype is. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that no one really cares about them. It's just because the focus isn't on those right now.
Yeah. I went back to like the Lost Annals of Gaia articles that I used to write, and I mean that hasn't changed. So Hubert definitely said 2/3 for the level 0 profession quests. 2/3 benefit comes from the profession skill, and 1/3 from the stats. So you would have to you would have to be like some yoked main class, subclass aligned guy that has like crazy stats for the 2 stats to have it outweigh the profession skill. And honestly, that actually, I mean, I don't even know why we're like still talking about it, so I'm sorry I keep going on, but like the gardening formula was given to us, and it's pretty easy to tell, like if you plug in numbers and varying stats and gardening profession skill level, the skill level for gardening drastically outweighs the wisdom and vitality.
So floor right now on a mythic is 300 jewel.
Seems that's gone up a bit.
Yeah.
Look at that, 305 for a level 5. Yeah, I kind of like buying level 4s. I've only bought in 2 mythics, but level 4s are kind of fun because it's kind of fun to hit the dice on that level 5 level up.
Yeah, that is a big one. It's plus 10 stats at level 5.
Yeah.
Let's just curiosity here.
Level 7 mythic.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa,
That's
level 11.
different.
Like, wait, I want to see the stats on this, bro.
Oh boy,
Also,
that
I want to
is
see
a
who owns this.
heavy paladin.
King Baka, 30. Look at that,
38
strength. What?
28 vitality, 27 endurance, 35 wisdom. Dang.
Dude, that guy is
Yoked.
Holy cow. Okay.
You gotta have deep
I mean, are
pockets.
you buying? Are you selling? Like, what are you doing?
So
I know you've got your Gen 0s. What are you doing
I've
with
got
your selling?
plenty of heroes right now. I feel really comfortable with the quantity of heroes. I have a good breakdown of heroes. I think I only have 1 mythic. I have several legendaries. I have a bunch of rares. So I feel like I have a well-rounded lineup that I have continued to level, and I think they're going to be good for combat. They're high profession skill, so I'm going to take the crew I have into the late game. So if I'm purchasing hero, I'm definitely not purchasing like a low level hero. It would have to be some yoked like that paladin, something high level, because I'm not grinding 6 more months just to get that hero caught up.
Yeah. I like can't stomach the thought of leveling a guy up from level 1 again. So when I summon with my Gen 0s, I usually just resell it. And honestly, I'm kind of rolling the dice because I'm hoping for like a high rarity or an advanced class, because otherwise it generally loses money on the summon. So
on that note, though, we did kind of do a small little breakdown, because before we did a farm of Gen 1 virgins, pairing them, summoning, and there was a point where it was pretty profitable. We were making some good money. What did we find out now, though? How does that look now?
So, because we did that back in around ETH Denver, and we were like, the numbers were working out really well, And even with Gen 1 prices dropping to like 58, 60, we're like, okay, maybe this makes more sense and it is even more profitable. But we ran through the cost of like, all right, if I summon first 5 summons, so what you're really banking for is a Gen 2 5 out of 5 advanced class. And it's just the numbers, like statistically, just don't work out. You will lose money generally if you try to do that summon farm, unless you get lucky.
Yep, you got to hit some advanced, and even at that, you've got to hit some like rarities. So yeah, it's just really stemmed because, I mean, even Gen 2 9 of 9 is basically selling at the floor.
Yep, that's what's crazy.
So.
It's like there's the floor, and then there's like the range of heroes that fall within floor price, and 5 jewel from that floor price is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't scale. It's not like a 9 out of 9 sells for much more than a 1 out of 1 Gen 2. Like those, they're going to be the same price.
Yeah.
On the market.
That just seems nuts to me. By the way, iOS code, buy that paladin. Yeah, right. I don't got those deep pockets. I'm gonna have to take a loan out from Samichpunch.
Dude, you think I've got those deep pockets? And first of all, I don't know if you're credit worthy.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Let's see. Noah Money says, do you guys know if the rise in XP required every level will be linear over time or exponential? Well, I don't think it's linear currently.
Definitely not linear.
Like it goes up quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So I definitely see it being exponential, but I also see like PvE later subsequent quests will also like scale exponentially, the experience that they give you. Like, I mean, at this rate, and based off of like the regression of the first 10 levels or 11 levels, like, I mean, you'd be like a lifetime of questing to hit level 50.
Oh, geez,
So,
yeah. I
it
fully
will
anticipate
get
these
more
higher level quests giving much more experience. Because right now it would be impossible to hit level 50.
Let's talk about maybe keep an eye. Let's see if there's any questions we haven't answered, and then I want to walk people through like the Final Fantasy 12 Gambit system. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but just to give people an idea of what that means, because they said that this combat system will look similar to that. Yeah, I think we've answered most of them. If you guys have more questions, like hit us up in the chat. We'll keep an eye. Adventures in DeFi Kingdom. What's up, guys? So here it is. I'm gonna share my screen. So this is a screenshot from a video about the Final Fantasy 12 Gambit system.
So you break this down simply.
Yeah,
I'm not even familiar with this bad boy.
It's so cool though. It's really cool. So like if you think of the traditional Final Fantasy, you've got like the enemies on one side, your guys are on the other side, and it's just like turn-based, like attack, and they just take turns. Final Fantasy 12 kind of changed things up a lot in the sense that it's active, like you're running around, and then like you don't take a bunch of actions. Like you set predetermined actions, like if then statements. It's almost like you're programming your guy to be like, hey, when this happens, I want you to do this, and I want that to be number 1 priority. If there's nothing to do in that priority, go to the next. And it's just like a script. It's just like it goes through until it hits the one. It's like, okay, now execute this. So what happens is you go into a battle, and all 3 of your guys or all 4 of your guys that are fighting, they just have this programmed AI that you've set and that you can set on the fly. You can also just change it in between. And it's kind of cool. Like you're trying to optimize and maximize how your guys work together. So like, let me just show you, this guy has 8 gambits. And again, I'm not saying this is how DeFi Kingdoms is going to work, but they said it would be similar. So it has 8 gambits here, and it would just be like, okay, it's like a program, and it'd say, number 1 priority is if an ally is KO'd, I want you to Phoenix down. That's in Final Fantasy, that's the like revive. So like that's the number 1 priority. That means it's like constantly checking for that. So let's say he's like attacking and he's doing some of these other actions. If one of your guy gets knocked out, it immediately will go to that and say, hey, look, somebody's KO'd, and execute this action, and it will revive them. If there's nobody KO'd to revive, then it just skips that and goes to the next one. It says, okay, if you're under 30% magic points, use ability charge, which gives you more mana. If you don't, so like if nobody's KO'd and you're not below 30% MP, like it will just skip over those until those are true. The next one would be if an ally's status is blind, use eye drops. That's the equivalent of like the, an
Cure.
item that cures blind. So like you can see what it's doing here. It's like, so those 5 things are kind of like positive ally buffs. If any of those happen, he will automatically prioritize and do those before he goes back to attacking. So if none of those 5 conditions are met, it'll say, okay, let's attack a foe. And if that foe's status is critical HP, so if they're really low, cast the poach ability. Well, what happens if none of your foes are critical HP? Well, it will skip that and go to the next one. Be like, okay, attack whoever the party leader's attacking. And after that, it would just be like, and if the party leader isn't attacking someone, then it would just be this would be the like catch-all. Like if nothing else is happening, if none of the other conditions are met, just go and attack the closest foe. So you can rearrange the priorities and of those, and like it's kind of cool because if you think about it, what if you put foe, this number 8 one, foe nearest visible, what if you put that at priority 1? Well, what would happen is your guy would never take any of these other actions. Like he would, because that would be priority 1. If there's a foe near a nearby visible foe, he would always prioritize that over any other action because it's priority 1. So it's a really cool system. It leads to a lot of strategy. I wish I could like play this video because one of the creators of Final Fantasy 12, let me see, he compares it to the NFL, because if you think about it, it's like you're taught, if you're playing football, you're taught like if the defense is lined up a certain way, I do this. Once the play is snapped, if certain defenders move certain ways, then I change and do this. And it's like this if then kind of, it's a similar thing. So honestly, I think it's super cool. It should be a lot of fun.
Do you think that will be the case for each hero? So we know that stacks are going to be 3 heroes. Do you think you'll have to line up these stacks of decisions for each hero? I would assume so, because each hero is going to have different abilities, right?
Yeah. I bet that it'll be like, if you have a priest who has healing skills, you could set like a priority number 1 to be, hey, anytime anybody drops below 50%, cast your heal spell. And then, maybe your next priority would be anytime my priest, because my priest is the one healing everyone, anytime he gets below 30% mana, use a magic potion. So I don't see how you could do that without being able to assign that for each hero, but
So what you're saying is it's not even close to the case of the strongest team is always going to win.
If it's like Final Fantasy 12, no. Like it's going to be a lot of strategy, and it's going to be cool because like I'm sure a meta will evolve, but there will be ways to plan against the meta, because if you know what the meta is, you're like, I know how everyone's. I hate to keep calling it gambits because it's going to be a different system, but if you know how everyone's like programming their like if-then statements, like you can plan against that. And
interesting.
And maybe plan to like take actions that would kind of mess that up, because the other thing you have to account, and this is where I think agility comes in, is it's not like you can just like constantly spam these things. You'll have like a timer bar, like, and of how fast you can take actions, and until you're like, again, I'm speculating here, but until your timer bar is full, like you can't take an action. And so that's why it's important to have high agilities, because you can take actions quicker.
So you're saying that revive when someone's below 50% is not something that you'll just continually revive.
You'd have to have mana. You'd have to have mana or an item if that's a thing. You would also, have to be able to like take another action, I'm guessing. So Seahawk, I just wanted to address this real fast. Sorry. Yeah. He says, are you hearing combat will be like FF12? Yes. So I'm sharing here the transcript of the AMA. Somebody's asked, I know there will be limitations for combat based on blockchain tech. One might be a Gambit system like FF12. And he said, we are planning on doing something like a Gambit system for combat. So that's why we're talking about this right now. We're not just like blatantly speculating. We're explaining how Final Fantasy 12's Gambit system worked, so you guys could kind of get a sense of how this might look.
So the Wanderer asked, so then will abilities be revealed for this next week? So I believe this is the combat. Combat isn't coming out next week. It's those training quests that will be launching. So not necessarily, combat's not coming out. I believe those abilities would probably have to be announced before like P2E or PvP comes out, so that we can actually do this Gambit system. But that's not next week though.
Yep, agreed. So Gambit, that's how that works. I'm sure there's probably Final Fantasy 12 was like a really obscure one in my opinion. I don't think it was nearly like it's not like the blockbuster Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 10 or FF14. But
You
so
mean
yeah, I
Final
hope this was.
Fantasy 7, right?
What did I say?
You
Didn't I
said
say that?
Final Fantasy 12 after you said it's not like the blockbuster Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. I meant 7. You know, Cloud
It's the same.
Strife, the big giant sword.
7's the iconic one.
Yeah. Okay. 40 minutes in. Okay. Do you want to talk? Should we talk about Gen0 Reroll?
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
that'll
let's
be
wrap it up with
interesting.
this.
And you kind of clarified. Let's see. So yeah, let's just read it.
Here. So yeah, the question is, and I don't want to get super in the weeds, guys. It's complicated. Metez put out an awesome video on the issue with why they need to do this, but let it suffice to say just that if they don't do some sort of reroll, over time the genes will be very skewed, and the Crystal Veil genes could be like crazy OP in the sense that they would have tons of DR1 aligned heroes, or they would just be too rare. So what Hubert mentioned is they would do a reroll. And after I explain this real quick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Babypunch. But essentially, you wouldn't reroll your main class. So if you have an archer, he would stay an archer. But what would reroll is, let's just pull up a hero here. 285. So what would not reroll is your main class. So this guy's a priest, but his main class recessive genes are knight, wizard, wizard. So these, he mentioned that these would reroll. Am I sharing my screen?
Yep, you are.
Okay. And that the subclass, the actual subclass, would have a chance to reroll. So like say your guy's a thief, he could now be a thief, and then the subclass could be
Berserker.
one of 10 genes. So it could be this 8 original, or like you said, Berserker, and then the 3 recessives as well for the subclass. So dominant and recessive for the subclass, just recessive for the main class. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I really like it. I think this is the most logical and might be the only option for them to overcome this barrier they have outside of releasing all the rest of the heroes. But I like it. I think it's a good way to mix up the genes and prevent, like you said, that really OP Crystal Veil heroes that are R1D1 or DR1 lined berserkers and seers. So I like it. I will definitely be re-rolling some of my heroes or my heroes.
Yeah, I have 3 Gen0s. 2 of them I will not be re-rolling because they are DR1 aligned already.
Oof.
So I don't really stand to benefit much from a reroll there, and that's okay. Like I think they if they do it this way, I think they realize like there are some. The one thing I'm like not like the biggest fan of is that if they do this every expansion, you know, your Gen0s, I know yours aren't DR1 aligned, you're gonna get 4 bites at the apple every time. And when I say 4 bites of the apple, I mean 4 bites of the apple to get your dominant main class and R1 gene aligned.
Yep.
Every time, every roll, that those chances are less because there will be, this time there's 10 heroes to select from the recessive pool. Next time it'll be 12, and then finally 14. Am I thinking about that right? So the that will have an indirect impact of like reducing the value of DR1, but I think that's fine. It's way better than the alternative. Way
Yeah.
better than the alternative.
Like I said, I think it's really their only option of how to solve this solution. So, yeah, I personally like it, and I will be re-rolling mine. But like you said, and like others, I know there was a comment in the chat. Some people will not choose to re-roll because they have those strong aligned genes. So, and that's totally fine. I believe
Agreed.
he said that they were going to try to incentivize people to do it. So there might be, um, rewards, maybe jewel, maybe crystal, maybe other items. So I think
I mean,
they're planning on incentivizing it.
yeah, that might be the case. I could also see the incentive being like, hey, you get another crack, a bite at the apple. Like that should be good enough for you. So there
I hope
is. I
they
mean,
incentivize it.
they do have an incentive to incentivize it because it is in like the interest of the entire ecosystem to have the
Mhm.
genes more balanced. But at the same time, like I don't think they want to go and give a ton of benefits for this. Like, but who knows? Do you let's see anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I can go to the hero giveaway.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything specific that we needed to touch on. Maybe we'll just keep an eye on the chat, see if anyone's got specific questions.
Yeah, I haven't been really looking. Let's skim real quick.
One thing that we never really gave much attention to was that website with all the airdrops.
Yeah. Well, it's just the Crystal Bell related ones, right?
Oh, is it just Crystalville related airdrops?
Yeah. Like I mean, some of them have
Oh, got
Jewel,
it.
but it was
Okay.
the ones that were like focused on Crystal Bell.
Okay.
But I mean, I think the only thing outstanding on Sarandel is like there's like this. They've airdropped the crystal. They have not airdropped the jewel yet. This one they've already airdropped the jewel. Really, at this point, it's just let's see. This one, the jewel for this one, the jewel for hero levelers, and raffle tickets.
And then on Sarandel, we still have. Let's see. I know there's Amulet, but that will probably be when amulets come out, obviously. So who knows how far down the road that one is.
Yeah, they have the snapshot. The snapshot for that one is out. I actually did want to talk about this question from Belsarn. Belsarn, how's it going, man? I love seeing all your stuff. You're a really smart guy. I see you all commenting a lot on Reddit and in the Discord. So, I mean, I don't want to get super in the weeds on this because, like, the issue spawned from a really technical thing, but I thought they were pretty clear on what they wanted to do with it. So those transcendent genes I thought they said like before you can do combat, you're gonna have to go and re-roll.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's see, guys. Long story short, the first 19 Gen Zeros erroneously had a chance to have a higher than basic ability in their recessive genes. What that did is, as those Gen Zeros populated, the recessives came out on some of their progeny, or whatever you want to call it, and that essentially created like a transcendent genes that shouldn't have been available until it essentially be like a Dread Knight essentially popping up accidentally. Although these abilities are not going to have near the impact that like main class has. So essentially there was an issue with that, and he said what we'd be looking to do is prior to combat being out, we would have something in place where any hero that would essentially also carry these would be required to go and perform a process, and it would essentially wipe those and re-roll their genes. However, if it looks, I'm sure they have something they can scrape blockchain data. If it looks like it was possible to get that transcendent through legitimate ways, then they would allow them to keep it.
I was gonna say that has got to be a ball of wire. Like, how do you untangle the entire gene pool? I know it's the blockchain and you can trace everything back, but That's got to be
3,000 heroes. I mean, because there's like APIs, there's like other websites out here that like you can track all the way up to the original Gen0. So I suspect that they'll be able to do it relatively easy, just based on statistics. Like if they just run, I'm sure they'll have some sort of program they can run and be like, statistically, this would have been impossible for this guy to get Transcendent, so he's got to re-roll it. But if it was potentially possible, sounds like they'll let him keep it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Defiant Vixen. Yeah, I think if a lot of people were buying these knowing that it was an issue and planning to benefit from it, and like that's a risk you take. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about that at all. Like let's be real. If you were buying it assuming that was the case, like I mean, if you were buying it and shopping for Transcendent, then you knew that was a thing. And this isn't new. Like they haven't like this thought of like, hey, we might have to make them re-roll. That's not like brand new news. Like they've already said like we've got to find a way to fix this. So
yeah, this is
that
definitely
honestly
a gamble.
doesn't bother me. Let's see, Habibi. When is Gen0 raffle? Crystalbell Gen0 raffle not happening until Gen0s can even come into existence, which would be phase 2 of Crystalbell. I don't know when that's going to happen. Okay, I've got a good one, a good trivia question. So guys, here's what we're giving away.
Let's see it.
I am going to give away this guy. Level 2. You know what? I actually don't know if 1, 6, 8, 5. This is a like DR1.
Whoa.
What is?
Arch Pirate.
It is a DR1 archer.
Oof.
Cool. I mean, summoning with Gen 2 starts out a little more expensive, 26 jewel, but maybe this could be helpful for someone that can't afford a DR1 Gen 1.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I price checked it, like DR1 and a Gen 2 doesn't carry the same value as in Gen 1, but I mean, heck, I hope it helps somebody. So 168558, lucky winner is going to get this. We're going to do trivia question, and the trivia question is, I'm going to say a quote, and you're going to have to tell me what show it's from.
This is a movie, TV show?
TV series, very popular TV series. If you don't know, like if you get to the end and you're like, I've never heard of that TV series, like you've lived
under a rock.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but there's issues. So, all right, here it is. So guys, first things first, put your Discord name. Guys, again, don't type it. Don't hit enter. Don't send it right now. Type your Discord name in. Mine would be Samichpunch #2518. Get that ready so that all you have to do is type in your answer and hit enter. If you don't include your Discord and username with your answer, it's kind of an auto disqualification. So get that ready. Here is the question. So here is the quote. You had me at Meat Tornado. All right. So here's the quote again. You had me at Meat Tornado.
This should be an easy one.
I mean, if you Google this, it's just like an immediately response to. So I hope somebody knew that without Googling.
For real. Workaholic. There we go. Standish.
Are you seeing Standish?
Yep.
Yeah, those all came in really close. So I know, like, for example, Anarcho Joe, Matt Alksness, like it might show as you coming up first on your screen, but on our screen, which is the one we have to go by, Standish 8865 was the first one.
Look at those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the exact same second. Look at the timestamps on those.
I'm sorry, guys. I wish, yeah. Standish. So Standish, congrats, man. I will DM you after this. Everybody else, Anarcho Joe, Matt, Stronghold, super close, guys. and I fully realize and recognize that on your screen you might have actually been first, but on our screen it shows Standish as first. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully this information was helpful. Really looking forward to these training and stat quests to see what that's like. And yeah, we'll plan
Honestly,
to do
it's
our.
gonna be nice to have anything different than just the static
Oh yeah,
quests we've been doing. It'll be
super
nice to
fun.
mix it up, and I feel like the game's on a really good trajectory. April's gonna be awesome when pets come out, hatch those eggs, rarity
Yeah,
system for them. So I'm excited. I really am excited for the upcoming future of the game.
agreed. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys on our next one. Let's see. Wait.
This weekend, right?
Stronghold. Yeah, we're gonna do our like podcast, which is like our like main show with Bloater Punch. Some of you hate him, some of you love him. We love him. He's not going anywhere. So you haters out there that are like, boo, Bloater Punch. Like, sorry, he's sticking around. Stronghold, no, sorry. These videos do not have their own write-ups. Although, yeah, that's I just don't have the like mental and capacity to take on another write-up. So,
Catch it on
anyways,
Spotify.
yeah,
Yep.
catch it on
Catch us on
Spotify. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
See you guys.